Children laughed and played, but the air carried a tense energy, as if something was about to happen. Suddenly, the villagers' eyes widened in shock as a group of angry men dragged a young girl, her clothes torn, her face bruised, into the village square. "Thief! Liar!" they shouted, their voices echoing through the village. It all started with Nala, a gentle-hearted 12-year-old girl, known for her kind spirit and helpful nature. One sunny morning, she was on her way to fetch water from the river when she spotted an old woman struggling with a heavy bundle of firewood. Nala ran to her. "Let me help you, grandmother." The old woman, her eyes weary and sad, nodded gratefully, and as they walked together, the old woman shared stories of her travels and the hardship she has faced. Nala listened intently, her heart aching for the old woman. When they reached the old woman's small hut on the outskirts of the village, Nala noticed how bare and empty it was. "Wait here," she said, and ran back home. She returned with a basket of food and some spare clothes. The old woman's eye filled with tears. "You have a kind heart, my child. May your kindness return to you 1,000 folds," she whispered, blessing Nala before disappearing into her heart. Nala returned to her daily routine, but strange things started happening. Her stepmother, Mame Bema, a stern woman who never liked Nala, found her favorite necklace missing and immediately blamed Nala. Despite Nala's plea of innocence, Mame Bema remained unconvinced. "You are always wandering off. Who knows what you get up to?" Mame Bema snapped. Nala's father, Ejedu, tried to mediate. "Bema, she is just a child. We need proof before accusing her." But Mame Bema's suspicion only grew. The village began whispering about Nala. They called her all sorts of names, including the kind girl with the thief heart. Nala felt the weight of their rumor and avoided leaving the house. Every day in Nala's life was a nightmare. She was shunned by friends and ignored by neighbors. One day, whilst washing outside, she overheard a group of women gossiping. "She seems so sweet, but you never know with these quiet ones," one woman said. Another replied, "It's always the innocent-looking ones. I don't trust her." Nala felt sad and heartbroken. The following day, Nala went to school, and as she walked into her classroom, she found her usual seat occupied, and no one was willing to make space for her. The teacher, who has previously been kind and supportive towards Nala, gave her a cold stare and asked her to sit at the back, far from her friends. During lunch, her classmate whispered and pointed at her, making her feel completely alone. The pain in her eyes as she struggles to focus on her lessons made Nala sad, feeling the weight of the false accusations. At the village market, Nala tried to buy food, but the vendors refused to sell to her. One vendor in particular snatched her basket and yelled, "We don't sell to thieves." The other market goers murmured in agreement, their eyes filled with judgment. Nala's stomach growls with hunger, but she walked away, head hung low, tears welling up in her eyes. When Nala returned home, she found a few possessions scattered and destroyed. Her stepmother's voice rang out, "It serves you right, thief." Nala's heart sank as she saw her treasured belongings ruined. As Nala ran out of frustration, she met a group of children laughing and pointing at her. They were delighted as they recounted their prank. Nala felt utterly humiliated and powerless. As Nala was feeling lonelier by the day, she decided to go and see her best friend Zuri, whom she's known since they were toddlers. When Nala approached Zuri's house, Zuri's mother stepped out and blocked her path, saying, "Stay away from my daughter. We don't need your kind here." Nala's heart was shattered as she saw Zuri peeking through behind the door, looking torn but too afraid to speak out. Nala left Zuri's house with pain and frustration. Nala, however, comforted herself knowing that the following day was a village festival and hoped to join the festivities to find some joy. But as she stepped forward to participate in a dance, a woman pulled her child away and loudly proclaimed, "Watch your belongings, the thief is here." The music stopped abruptly, and all eyes turned to Nala, filled with suspicion. She felt a crushing sense of shame as she ran away. The sound of mocking laughter followed her. That night, as Nala lied in her bed, hearing the distant sounds of the village festival continuing without her caused her to have a deep sense of loneliness. The laughter and the music that used to bring comfort to her now feels like a sharp knife on her skin. She curled up, hugging herself, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "Why don't they believe me? Why do they hate me so much?" Mame Bema, still unconvinced of Nala's innocence, took away her privileges. Nala was forbidden from eating with the family and was given the hardest chore. One day, while scrubbing the floor, she overheard her stepmother telling a visitor, "That Nala girl needs to learn her place in this house. Thieves deserve no kindness." The words cut deep, leaving Nala feeling more like a prisoner than a family member in her own home. One morning, Nala woke up to find stolen goods planted in her room. Mame Bema triumphantly presented them to the village elders as evidence of Nala's guilt. Despite Nala's desperate protest, the elders shook their heads and said, "This cannot be ignored. Nala should be publicly shamed." They forced her to stand in the village square as villagers mocked her. At this point, Nala could not bear the pain any longer. Her heart was completely broken. She ran to her father, tears streaming down her face. "Papa, why do they hate me? I've done nothing wrong." Her father hugged her tightly. "We will prove your innocence, Nala. The truth will come out." Desperate to clear her name, Nala decided to find the real thief. She decided to stay up late, watching the shadows in the village. One night, she saw a figure sneaking around the marketplace. Quietly, she followed the person, her heart pounding. The figure slipped into a small house. Nala recognized it was the home of the Dumas, a boy known for his cunning ways. She saw him stash stolen items under his bed. Relieved and fearful, Nala has finally found the thief. The next day, Nala bravely confronted Duma. "I know what you've been doing. Duma, you need to confess. You are the thief and not me. Confess, confess." Duma smiled. "Who will believe you? Everyone already thinks you are the thief." Before she could respond, Duma's father, a powerful and feared man, stepped out. He grabbed Nala by the arm, his grip painful. "What are you accusing my son of, you little rat?" Nala struggled to break free. "He's the one stealing. Please, you have to believe me." He laughed cruelly. "No one will believe a word you say." And truly, no one believed Nala when she tried to prove her innocence. A week later, during the market day, Nala saw a commotion. An old man was being accused of stealing from a vendor. Nala recognized the man's desperate look. It mirrored the old woman she had met while she was on her way to the stream to fetch water weeks ago. Stepping forward, Nala spoke up bravely. "He didn't steal anything. I saw him drop his money and maybe he's too afraid to admit it." Nala handed the vendor some coins. The crowd dispersed, but the vendor's eyes were cold and said, "You protect thieves because you are one." Soon after, Nala was accused of stealing food from the market. Nala was so confused and didn't know where this accusation had come from. In a blink of an eye, a group of men dragged her into the village square. Their faces full of anger, they demanded she confess. Tears streamed down Nala's face as she could not comprehend what was happening to her, but she held her grounds. "I didn't steal anything," she cried out, but no one listened. Suddenly, a voice broke through the chaos. "Stop this madness!" It was the old woman Nala had helped at the stream. She stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "This girl is innocent. She helped me when no one else would." The villagers whispered, unsure of what to do. The old woman held up her hands, revealing a shining necklace. Mami Bema gasped. "That's my necklace. I told you Nala stole it and gave it to this old woman." The old woman nodded. No. It was given to me by your husband, Ejedu." Ejedu stepped forward, looking guilty. "Bema, I gave it to her as payment for healing our son when he was ill." Mami Bema's face twisted in confusion and anger. "Why didn't you tell me, Ejedu?" Ejedu sighed. "I feared your wrath. Bema. You were too angry. I thought it would be better if no one knew." The old woman continued. "Nala's kindness to me has kept her alive all this while. I am a healer, but I'm also a seer. I saw the darkness that would befall her if she was not protected. Your daughter Nala is innocent." The crowd slowly dispersed, feeling shameful and guilty. Mami Bema looked at Nala with shame on her face. "I'm so sorry, Nala. Please, forgive me for everything I have done to you." Nala accepted the apology, tears of relief streaming down her face. The old woman smiled at Nala. She said, "My child, your kindness has rippled back to you. Remember, the heart that gives is the heart that receives." The village returned to its peaceful routine, but Nala was forever changed. She understood now that kindness could be a powerful force, capable of changing hearts and fates. From that day, Nala walked through the village with her head held high. She knew that the ripples of the actions would continue to spread, touching lives in ways she could never have imagined. Nala finally experienced peace and joy in her life for the first time.